It's very important to know how the law of karma operates, and it is also very essential to know how it is related to the theory of karma. If there is no theory of karma, as I told you, morality becomes meaningless, and vice versa, if there is no theory of law or maybe the theory of karma, then we have morality impossible. So keeping these two together in mind, Professor Muni Mahendra Kumar, he needs actually no introduction. And, yeah. Professor Muni Mahendra Kumar graduated from the University of Bombay in 1957 and was initiated, just imagine the dates, and during that time to be graduate from University of Mumbai is a big deal. And was initiated as a Jain monk by Acharya Sri Tulsi in the same year. He is a scholar of diverse disciplines like physics, mathematics, bioscience, philosophy, Indian as well as Western, psychology, parapsychology, which interests me a lot, ancient history and meditation, and is conversant with 15 languages. Please. Yeah, 15 languages. Oh no, 17 languages in fact. He is a prolific writer, a competent translator, and a critical editor of more than 60 books. His significant contribution to research in Jain canonical literature has earned him the title of Agama Manishi. He has been awarded the honor of epithets Preksha Pradhyapaka, Bahushruta, and human computer as well. We are so fortunate to have him on the dais. A round of applause for him as well. Thank you, Mara Sahib, to be here. I continue. Yeah. I request the chair to continue with the session.
Om Rim Namo Arhantam. Om Rim Namo Siddhanam. Om Rim Namo Padamam Havai Mangalam Padamam Havai Mangalam.
After paying obeisance to the Honorable ones and the senators, I first of all want to draw the attention of the whole audience to the fact that in this conference we are dealing with multiple disciplines, and many people may be conversant with one discipline, may not have the idea of the other discipline which is considered, or vice versa. So, in order to do justice to the topic we are going to discuss, I will devote some time to fundamental understanding of both the disciplines. My topic is neuroscience and karma. Both are in the domain of diverse disciplines. Neuroscience is the modern branch of biological sciences. Theory of karma or the doctrine of karma belongs to the domain of darshan mainly, and later on also philosophy. I distinguish between darshan and philosophy in the sense The darshan is the direct apprehension of the reality made by the soul who has attained that kind of perception which we all know as the all-pervading perception. Later on, the school of darshan is substantiated by the philosophical developments. So it should be made clear that what we are discussing now, mainly as far as the theory of doctrine or the doctrine of karma is concerned, we are mainly concerned with the Jain darshan. The ultimate aim of the discussion of neuroscience and karma together is on two fronts, as probably you might have heard yesterday when I defined Jainism. I said that it prescribes both the path of attainment of the summum bonum or final beatitude of individual soul. That is the main object, that is the main purpose of the path prescribed by the Tirthankaras. And simultaneously, when we consider its worldly aspect, we also come to know that as a byproduct, when an individual soul gradually becomes free from the effects of karma, automatically there is going to be a change in his social behavior, in his conduct, etc., and that will pave the way for establishment of the social order which is cherished by all, in which there is no place for inequality, injustice, and so on. To understand both of them, we have to make a comparative study between science and Jain philosophy, and now we are going to discuss neuroscience and the doctrine of karma. The doctrine of karma is mainly based on the metaphysical truths revealed in the Jain darshan. Jain darshan has revealed that the fundamental existence of soul is an eternal substance, eternal metaphysical reality, without beginning, without end, and hence it is eternal. Yesterday we had a discourse by Roger Penrose, who, in dealing with his view on cosmology, made it clear that in spite of the Big Bang theory, ultimately the science has to accept the beginningless and the endless cycles. It shows that the existence of soul or the substance possessed of consciousness is an eternal existence. As Jainism also explains everything through the doctrine of Anekantavad, multifaceted aspects of truth, we have to take into consideration the transcendental point of view which describes the soul as that entity, that real substance in which its own characteristic in the form of consciousness is fully and perfectly developed, which remains as it is in spite of undergoing the impact of karma in its mundane life, in its cycle of transmigration. This is exactly described by Acharya Kundkunda in his Samaysar, that this fact, that is the transcendental nature of the soul, remains as it is, and it is only when we consider the empirical point of view we come across the effect of karma, and because in that state there is the mutual interaction between what is called soul and the physical order of existence called Pudgal. This continuous interaction between the soul and the Pudgal matter, one of which is the karmic Pudgal. In Jain metaphysics, we get an elaborate explanation of the domain of physical order of existence, Pudgal, and this type of Pudgal, which are called karmic Pudgal, are to be considered as the subtlemost type of groups, Vargana, which has the effect on the soul when they get associated with the soul. The whole strategy, if I use the right word, of a person who seeks emancipation, who wants that he should attain his original state, its essential or its ingrained nature, which is of course perfect and possessed of infinite virtues, then he has first of all to establish as a strategy this kind of what is called as view or the belief. We have to understand the whole process of spiritual sadhana as a struggle between two kinds of strategies. One strategy is that of karma. Although karma is totally devoid of consciousness, so the whole strategy of karma is an automatic mechanism based on the properties, physical properties or chemical properties or micro properties of the karmic Pudgal. It is inbuilt in the nature of karma vargana, and on the part of the soul, for the person who is a real pursuer, he is in the pursuit of his self-development and final emancipation from the clutches of karma. The strategy is first of all to establish the knowledge of the self and the firm belief about the true nature of soul. When the spiritual strategy succeeds, there starts the breakthrough in the beginningless bondage or the cycle of bondage going on, because the process of karma is a cyclic process. The cause generates the effect, and the effect again generates the cause. It is just like a seed producing a tree, and again the tree producing the seed. Infinitely long process, cyclic process would never come to an end if the soul does not adopt the strategy to become free from it. And in that case, the Jain darshan gives us the illustration of those souls which are termed as abhavya jeev, which remain in that mundane state for all the time in the past and all the time in the future. In this way, when we understand this strategy of karma, we can mitigate its effect through proper sadhana, which we call as the spiritual sadhana. And the first step is the knowledge of the self, which breaks the main root cause of perpetual rebirth, which is due to the wrong notion, wrong belief, wrong view. It is called mithyata. In the second step, now, when a person has actually come to know about his true nature, the process of emancipation starts. And that now comprises in defeating the second front of karmic strategy, which is the second part of deluding karma, which generates patience and quasi-patience in the person. Now we can bring in the neuroscience, in which it is given that from the very beginning of life, through the DNA code which is inherited by the soul, he may be in any species, he may belong to human beings, Homo sapiens, or he may belong to plants. Anywhere, there is this code, and according to karma theory, from the very beginning, the strategy of karma is to provide through nama karma and gotra karma the required facilities for living, and at the same time perpetuating the cycle of bondage and fruition endlessly. It does not allow the lower organisms to go in the right direction, to have the knowledge of the self, to understand that the self or the soul is the boss, commanding authority, and not the slave or the obeying servant. This idea never occurs in the lower organisms. It is only in higher organisms that this kind of what is called as the right view is obtained, and it is, according to neuroscience, it is the human brain. Mostly the neocortex part. When we consider the modern anatomy of brain, I'd like to quote from a very standard book on this. The book is written by Dr. Sunil K. Pandya, neurosurgeon of Jaslok Hospital, book published by National Book Trust of India, having several reprints.